And welcome back to Out and About Today. I'm Chuck Long, and on this edition of the Entertainment Outlook, not only is actress and Nashville native Susan Yeagley a staunch supporter for LGBT rights, she's also one of Hollywood's funniest women, sharing the screen with the likes of Amy Poehler, Adam Sandler, Sarah Silverman, and husband Kevin Nealon. Here's a look at Susan in action in her recurring role on Parks and Recreation.
So, how did you and Mr. Newport meet?
Well, I was doing a ribbon cutting at the hospital, and he was there because his blood doesn't work. And we started talking, and then I realized who he was. Oh my gosh, it was love at first sight.
Oh, that sounds so romantic. Jessica, I know you've rented out this house for a party, but it's on the historical register, so we can't allow any changes. I'm so sorry.
It's a little late for that, sweetheart. I told him what I was doing months ago. Where I come from, there's a saying, what's done is done.
That's a saying everywhere.
I've never heard it before, and I think it's a great saying.
Well, maybe we can just limit the damage. How much have you done? You painted this?
Uh-huh. Miami teal is Nikki's favorite color. We also replaced some of the sconces, got rid of the furniture, painted these floors black.
Oh, these were the original hardwood floors.
Yeah, they were all scratched up. I did you a favor. Come on in here. I'll show you guys what we did in the sitting room.
After you, I'd hate to miss the view.
Oh, you little devil. I should just pay you to fool me around.
If that's a job offer, I accept.
Oh, my God.
Susan Yeagley, so good to see you. Welcome to Out and About Today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Chuck.
Hilarious work you do, and we're going to talk all about it.
Okay, great.
Now, I feel like we can kind of get a sitcom university education because you've done so many different sitcoms. So.
I have done a lot of them. I've done Friends and Everybody Loves Raymond. And Friends was one of my first sitcoms to do, and I was so nervous that I wrote my lines on a packet of Equal and Sweet and Low and put it in Java Central so that when Matt LeBlanc came in, Joey came in to do the scene, I would just stare at my lines on in the Sugar Bowl.
That was smart.
So, yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. No,
first time out.
First time out. And I thought that's my first time out in a sitcom was that show. So.
Well, I'm going to ask you all about those in a little while. But first, I kind of want to talk about the fact that, of course, you're a Nashville native. You grew up in Nashville. And I always wonder, how do people get from Nashville to, for example, Hollywood and a television and film career? So how did that all come about?
Well, good question. I started, born and raised in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and then went to University School of Nashville and just loved doing plays locally. And when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I was begging my mom if I could do theater, local commercials, and so for some reason I got in an Amy Grant music video, which was a blast, and I was paid $25 and an Amy Grant album was my compensation, which was awesome. And then from there did like a Mickey Gilley video played the child in a Johnny Cash Christmas special, and it was a great way to kind of get my sea legs and learn the whole job of being an actor and what a writer does, what a gaffer does, what a lighting person does. So then when I graduated from high school and had some commercials under my belt, I decided to apply to USC, and I went to film school there. From there, went to the Groundlings.
It's a great comedy improv group.
It's fun. So I still take classes there. I was there last week doing improv. So
great way to keep the muscles up.
Keep the muscles going.
Absolutely.
Yes, and.
Okay, so any audition horror stories when you first got out there, being new to the scene in LA and that kind of thing?
Oh my God, it sounds almost like pick a week. There are there's always that, following someone who kills, and the cast director runs down the hallway. Leanne, come back! Don't go down and get your car. They love you, Leanne. But your name's Susan, and there's always that. Also, remember there was this Matt LeBlanc show. There was a pilot called Joey. I think it was called the spinoff. Yeah. And I was going in to do like a pre-test workshop, and it was after lunch, and I was by myself in a holding area, and someone said, Susan Yeagley's here for a final callback, and I heard someone down the hallway go, why is she here? We already got the part. She already got the part. But as a courtesy, they brought me in, and I knew that they had already gotten the girl, and it was,
Yeah. So you're thinking, just in case she,
just in case she has a skiing accident,
exactly.
Or gets hit by a bus, God forbid. I'm here. So,
yeah, that's great. What really made you know that you could make people laugh? Did you remember kind of that epiphany, or was it just natural?
I was not the class clown, but I would sit my chair right next to the class clown and laugh and love and just be utterly besotted by funny people. That was always my thing. So, but I was, my mom would say I was very shy in doing a church play. I was going to be an angel or something. I'd run and sit in her lap rather than go on stage. So there was really no way of knowing it until probably after college, when I thought what I could do, and I said, well, I always loved acting. If I can just get over my shyness, I'll do it.
And what about comedy? Because everybody says, you know, drama is easy, comedy's hard when it really comes down to
yeah,
it.
dying's
Dying's
easy.
easy. Yeah, thank you, exactly. That was my improv way of saying that. So, but I mean, did you feel the pressure when you first started doing comedy of, oh God, how do I make people laugh?
Well, I knew I went in and there was a soap opera that brought me in. Was really young in LA, 25 or 26 years old, to test for soap opera, and if I got it, I would have gone to New York. And I completely made the scene a comedy scene, and it was supposed to be a drama. I think it was my sister's ghost had come back and slept with my third husband or something. And I remember the people sitting there, cast directors, laughing, and it hit me, oh, this is a serious scene. This is not for me. So then they recommend I go to the Groundlings, and the first class I took at the Groundlings, it just blew me away. I felt like I was home because it's a group of creative people who see the world differently and see it comedically. And they teach comedy, they teach improv.
Do you feel like someone who is not necessarily funny can go to something like an improv class and learn comedy, or do you think it's innate?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, because there's so many, the rules of improv about not denying and saying yes. And I've actually seen and sat in classes where people come in, they break every single one of the traditional improv comedy rules, and they're hysterical because they have an innate funny bone. There's also people that come and they follow every single little improv rule, and they're just, you know, boring as a box of hair.
Right.
So I think that one can, if maybe they're not innately funny, one can go and take a class and loosen their edges up a little bit. I think there's no downside to taking an improv comedy class.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at least you're going to meet some funny people,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, and laugh.
Laugh, right.
Completely.
Yeah.
So much more to talk to you about, but we are going to take a short break now. When we do return, though, we'll find out why Susan's support of LGBT rights is personal for her. So come on back with us.